What's going on, guys? And we're live. I thought I'd try and get back on the horse and get back on these mainstream platforms by any in any way I can. Obviously it's a necessary evil at this point, and as much as I don't like using YouTube and all this stuff, I don't have a Facebook anymore and I don't have an Instagram anymore. They were all removed. I do have my private YouTube account, which was created when I first created my Gmail, and I found that a lot of people had subscribed to my YouTube account. Back then, there's about 500 of them. So I decided what better way for me to get my voice out there and be heard and have a bit of a conversation with people than to get onto the YouTube channel. Now, I did a video just wasn't very long ago. It was probably about it's probably a couple of hours ago now, where I absolutely just lost my shit. And rightly so. I absolutely lost my shit at the fact that, there's politicians out there that believe being representatives of the people means that you can commit war crimes. The fact that these people actually have the audacity and think they have that much power that they can commit war crimes absolutely blows my mind, right? I couldn't believe it when I read it. I actually had to read it twice. And I actually had to look at it. And I said to myself, is this really an article? Like, did this politician actually say this? And I was so taken back by it, I had to actually call the office because it says there's no data. Oh, no, it says excellent condition. Okay, that was weird. I'm just going to head over to my feed and have a look what this looks like before I go any further, because I don't want to be speaking to myself. Guys, you can start adding a comment in the chat. I'm just going to have a look how this looks. Hey, how you going, Waraba? Yeah, so I was actually so taken back by what I saw in this post, within this article. I actually said to myself, that, you know what, I need to go and have a look at this. I physically need to call the office and see if in fact a politician, a representative of the people, actually said this. Because, I've had instances in the past where I've jumped the gun and I've gone and publicly stated things where, even though I was 100% sure that this person had committed whatever they'd committed, I had to double check. So this time I actually did my due diligence and I rang the office. And when I rang the office, when I heard that he actually confirmed that he'd stated that people should not be able to leave their homes unless they partake in war crimes, I was blown away. I actually said to myself, is this really happening? Are we actually waking up every day and this is really happening? Are we really in this? Is this actually reality at the moment? And I had to do that video. I had to get on and I had to hold this guy accountable, because these people are only going to continue to do these ridiculous call outs and these ridiculous asks of the public if we allow them to. If there's no public outrage, if there's no emails that absolutely flood this guy's office, then that's going to be one in a very, very long chain of people who are going to say these things, right? And I can just visualize this guy walking away with his tail between his legs like a dog that's just had the absolute shit, taken out of him because they're just that frightened. I can just visualize this guy going back in his hole where he came from for even stating that. Tanya said who said that. It was Frank Pagnello. Oh, what I'll do is I'll actually go to the article and I'll show you the article that made me lose my shit, right? I was blown away, and not in a good way. Yeah, it was a South Australian politician. I'll show you the article, and people can make up their own minds, but this is nuts. So, here's the article. Cause for Australians. This is actually what this guy said, right? This is actually what this guy said. Now, there's a boatload of ads that come up on this for some reason. Just give me 1 second. I need to put something back on. There I am. Calls for Australians who refuse COVID vaccinations to be banned from pubs, restaurants, offices, and even leaving their homes. South Australian politician has called for mandatory vaccinations nationwide. Right? Upper House politician Frank Pagnello recommended Aussies carry a vax passport. He said the document meant authorities could easily determine who had the jab. Mr. Pagnello said nation was on the cusp of health and economic catastrophe. This is a real article. And when I read it, and when I called their office to see that this was in fact true, I had to do that video. I had to do that video showing that we as the Australian people aren't going to take their bullshit. And if this guy gets 1,000 emails within 24 hours calling for him to resign, he's gonna crawl back out from that rock he came from with his tail between his legs for even suggesting such a draconian measure on the people. Because last time I checked, it's in direct violation of the Nuremberg Code. Article 1 of the Nuremberg Code. Now, if you haven't read the Nuremberg Code, the Nuremberg Code says this, right? And people need to know this. People actually need to read the Nuremberg Code. You actually need to look at this stuff and be informed. The voluntary consent of the human subject is absolutely essential. This means that the person involved should have legal capacity to give consent, should be so situated as to be able to exercise free power of choice without the intervention of any element of force, deceit, duress, sound familiar, overreaching, or other ulterior form of constraint or coercion, and should have sufficient knowledge and comprehension of the elements of the subject matter involved as to enable him to make an understanding and enlightened decision. Now, here's what I don't get. You're saying that I have my free and informed consent to make a decision based solely upon my own decision, right? Upon my own devices, I can make that decision for myself. You're saying I'm not being forced to do this. But then you're saying you won't be able to function in society if you don't. On what planet is that not coercion? On what planet is that politician right now not coercing you to... On what planet is that politician not coercing you to partake in a war crime? How is it this guy is still able to maintain an office? How is it this guy is still able to maintain that seat where he works? Blows my mind. Absolutely just blows my mind. I was ready to run through walls, man. I was so upset. I was ready to run through walls. G'day, Matty. How are you, mate? I'm trying to get back onto a mainstream platform somehow. I'm being very careful what I speak about. But the fact that this guy wanted us to partake in war crimes just blows my mind. And the fact that they allowed, this is okay. This is a conversation that is not taboo. And this is a conversation that does not ring alarm bells through society just blows my mind that we're at this point. People really need to go and read that Nuremberg Code, man. Every single politician needs to be sent Article 1 of the Nuremberg Code before they even think of uttering the fact that we can't leave our homes. You can't say stuff like that, mate. Do these idiots, you know what I don't get? Do these idiots actually think that we are going to just sit back and let them bring out a rule like, oh, you can't leave your home without getting this? Do they actually think we're going to sit there and just take it? Do they actually not think that the people in the thousands and the hundreds of thousands and the millions are going to revolt and hold these people accountable for even uttering such a ridiculous accusation? So for even uttering such a ridiculous notion, such a ridiculous obligation that they even are thinking about implementing, do they not think that the people are going to say, hang on a second, mate, who the fuck do you think you are? Like, who the fuck do you honestly think you are? Do you honestly think you're that powerful sitting in your fucking position? Do you honestly think the police are going to sit there when 1 million people stand up, losing their fucking shit? Do they honestly think the 34,000 police around Australia or whatever it is, right, are honestly going to stand there in line and face 1 million people to ensure these draconian measures that you never would have thought in a million years that a government would implement onto his people? Do they honestly think the cops are going to stand there and fight and shoot the people of our country? They're not going to do it, mate. And when they do, there's not going to be a fucking ivory tower, mate. There's not going to be one place these people are going to be able to hide where these people aren't going to, we're not going to get to them, mate. Surely by now these guys have shown their hand. Surely by now we can see that there's definitely something that we need to. Surely by now, this is nuts, man. I couldn't believe it when I read that article. I couldn't believe it. I actually had to pinch myself and say, man, are we living in the year 2021 in a free democratic society, what we believed? In a country like Australia, and a politician is turning around and saying, I'm not going to be able to leave my house if I don't take part in a war crime. Mate, you must have some balls, Frank Pagnello. You must have some serious, kahunas, mate, to say something like that and not think that you're going to get major public backlash. If you actually think you're going to be able to utter the fact that you're going to lock people in their homes, and you think these people have the arrogance to think that millions of people are going to stay in their homes because the government says so. Just because the government says so. Mate, I hope you got a big prison, mate, because you're going to need to lock up millions of people. I'm sorry, but when the law, just because it's written in legislation, doesn't mean it's right. And when you start saying that you're going to stop people from being able to have freedom of movement unless they partake in your experiment, I'm sorry, that's just nuts. Absolute nuts, man. The world's lost its mind. Now, I've got to be very careful what I say. I'm not going to talk about, anything to do with the thing that's going around that seems to be making people feel like they got the sniffles, if you know what I mean. I'm just going to be stating facts and how I feel, and I'm just at the point where, where do we go from here, man? Are we honestly getting to the point that these people aren't going to stop pushing and attacking us unless the people stand up? Yeah, I can't talk about that stuff. Little black butterfly, I can't talk about that stuff, man. I've got to be very careful what I talk about. This is my personal YouTube. And yeah, I'm not going to be done for community standards. Going to be very careful what I talk about. But look, when I stood on those steps last year, man, I knew all this stuff was coming, you know? And when I was telling people last year, this is what I don't get, right? When I was telling people last year, when I was warning people, they were calling me batshit crazy. You're mad. Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. They don't even have those things yet. They don't even have a vaccine yet. What are you worried about? And man, I told them last year, and I tried to warn people. And now, you know, you're 18 months on. 18 months on, and you know, this thing wasn't what we thought it was going to be. You know. But guys, it's good to have everyone on. It's fantastic to actually, I don't know, be live for once, because it's been so long since I've been on anything. I think I'm just going to keep creating YouTube channels, I don't know, and people can just subscribe to them. But I'm not going to stop fighting, man. I'm not going to stop fighting. I'm going to keep moving forward and keep putting out videos and just keep trying to put out content. And just keep fighting. That's all we can do, to be honest. We just got to keep fighting, and we just got to keep moving forward. But the fact that, I don't know, the fact that it's just so blatantly obvious, and yet, I don't know, it's still not visible to some people, just, you know, blows my mind, to be honest. Absolutely blows my mind. I don't know, man. I'm just at the point where, when I saw that guy say that, I said, this is the first of many. You know, once one of these scumbags, just one of them, gets over the line, and how is this be an acceptable conversation through the community without there being public backlash? If just one of these guys gets that over the line, we are well and truly screwed. If one of them manages to put something like that in place, we are well and truly screwed. There won't be no coming back from that. And if the police choose to involve themselves in order to put these draconian measures towards the people, then you know 100% that those police are committing war crimes. If just one of these rules gets into place where they're not going to let you leave your home, mate, at that point, you know that the police are involving themselves in war crimes. I'll put the link to the ad. I mean, to the article in the chat, so you can have a look. Yeah, man, it's absolutely nuts. And the fact that the worst part about it is that this doesn't end until 2023. This will not end and be seen as fully finished until July 30th, 2023. That's absolutely nuts. The fact that this will not end until July 2023. In what world, on what planet can a politician stand up and make a call out like that and speak on behalf of 26 million people in a population in Australia? On what planet can that be okay, that guy can remain in his seat of office? On what planet? I'm outraged, man. If I could say anything, I'm absolutely outraged. Guys, what do you think of the new format? Do you like the new format? I've been working on some broadcasting software and learning how to get, you know, proper content out there to the people. I'm actually going to be moving and setting up a live Rumble account very soon and putting my best foot forward and getting the information out there and just creating some type of entertainment that people can come and listen and watch and just something that people can relate to, you know. It's been hard, man, you know, getting knocked off two major platforms. Getting knocked off two major platforms has been absolutely just nuts, and not having the reach I once had has been hard. But I'm just going to build this and just, you know, be careful about what I talk about on this. You know, because we all know what's really going on, so I don't need to talk about it like that. Yeah, so as long as I'm just very careful what I speak about, I can't delete videos. If I'm showing something that's straight off the, you know, the website itself, you know, it's fact. It's not, I'm not making up anything. But yeah, I'm absolutely blown away, man, that this is the year 2021. And, you know, I thought I'd be, by the age of 30, 38, turning 39, I thought I'd be looking towards, you know, creating a family and, you know, getting married and having a future and maybe building a business and, you know, creating a life for myself, right? And now this total uncertainty, this madness of these constant lockdowns and this constant government control is just getting out of hand. And it's like, where do we go from here? You know, where do you go from here? What's the most logical step? In order for you to have any type of civil action, you need to have numbers. You need to have the millions of people behind you. And, you know, if the millions of people are behind you, if the millions of people are really behind us, I can't see it. Is it because people don't see it? Is it because people are ignorant to it? Is it because people choose to not accept? But knowing now what I've seen now, I'm very proud about what I did last year. I'm proud about this, you know, the fact that I stood there. I went to the Parliament House on my own. I'm proud of, you know, and there was 8 or 9 people there in the beginning. I'm proud about the fact that next week we came and we were heard, and we ended up on, you know, the media actually was reporting it. Yes, they completely made it look different to what it was, but at least we were there. I'm proud about the fact that I, you know, tried so hard that, you know, to advocate so we can be there. The day before the days I got arrested, right? I'm proud about all of it. Because now, moving on and seeing what this scumbag piece of shit politician said, now more than ever, am I proud about what I did, you know? But these guys, this needs to stop. This madness needs to end. And I think, you know, it's only going to end if we maintain the conversation, if we don't cower down, if we don't shy away, and if we just keep going. I think that's the only way we're going to have, you know, any type of, I don't know, any type of, I don't know, I've lost my words. Any type of fight, any type of counter argument. Someone said this should be proof. Yeah, thanks guys. I appreciate all the kind words too, guys. But I'm really going to start building my Rumble channel, guys, and it's going to be, I'll be going live there. So if you're not subscribed to my Rumble channel, get over there. You should find the link in the description of this video for the Rumble channel. Yeah, I've got the link to my podcast there, and I've got the link to my video Rumble video thing there as well. Head over there, sign up, share the hell out of it. Let's get let's get the fight happening over there. Let's get the viewers over there, because I don't know how long YouTube would actually leave me up for. But I'm not actually speaking about anything. I'm not spreading medical misinformation or anything like that. I'm just speaking, you know, about whatever I'm talking about. And yeah, I've just got to be real careful, to be honest. But it is a necessary evil, unfortunately, and we're at that stage. And if we don't, I just got to keep going, man. I got no choice in the matter. I got to keep going. It's not as if I can get out there on the streets. Otherwise, I'm facing jail. So that's not exactly an option. So I'm doing the best I can, creating public service announcements, creating content, getting the word out there. But it just sucks, It sucks that we live in a world now that if you even utter any type of counter argument towards what's going on, you just get completely wiped off social media. You'd think that their freedom of speech would be okay in order for there to be a counter argument with something, right? You never saw them deleting your videos because you're talking about aliens and stuff like that, right? But that's because they want you to talk about aliens. Someone said, I think World was too compliant. It's just a month and look where we are now. Yeah, that's right. The world's compliant and complacent. But that's it, guys. I think I'm going to end it there. I think I just wanted to get on and, get myself back out there. Hopefully you've enjoyed my new format, right? How I can share screens and can look really professional, whatever else. Yeah, you just got to keep going, to be honest, and you just can't stop. You've got to put your best foot forward and fight as much as you can. Because I believe that very, very soon, these types of conversations being had on any type of social media will be seen as right-wing extremist type of behavior, and they'll actually be able to enter your home without a warrant, arrest you, take you for 72 hours without the need to have a lawyer present, whatever else. They'll make some type of amendment to the terrorism laws. And yeah, they'll come after people such as myself and like-minded people who are just speaking the truth, right? And just putting themselves out there, and they're showing fact and they're questioning, which it is a natural inclination of man to question things, and there should be nothing wrong with that. Now we live in this world that you cannot question anything. It's like you have freedom of speech as long as your freedom of speech agrees with what we want you to say. And as long as you have that type of, as long as you're speaking of something that helps with what we want people to think, then that's fine. Then you can speak as much as you want. But if you are someone who wants to speak the opposite, well, we can't have you on any of that stuff. Yeah, please add your Rumble link. Yeah, I'll chuck it in. Give me a second. I'll put the link to Rumble in there. Because I honestly don't know how long YouTube would have me on for. I've been very, very, very careful what I've spoken about in this conversation. But I can see that happening very, very soon in the near future. I can see that there will be this attitude towards people such as myself, Dave O'Neiggs, Rafael Fernandez, Max Egan, David Icke, all these people, in terms of speaking truth, will be seen as, some type of extremist. They'll label you as an extremist, and then once they do that, they can put you under anti-terrorism laws. That way they can enter your home without a warrant, take you for 72 hours for questioning without any need for you to speak to legal representation. And once we get to that stage, then we are well and truly, excuse my language, but we're fucked. And there's only going to be one thing that people will be able to do at that point, and that will be to fight. That will honestly be strength in numbers. But are we even going to, are we even going to make a dent? Is there going to be a difference made, or is our lives going to be served more in the future as living in communities outside of civilization, like a Hunger Game-esque type of reality where we are in communities and we're living off the land, wearing tattered clothes, which are because we don't have access to what we once did as used to be our world, and we're just living on whatever we can find. And, will there be this conversation that will be outcasts, and we'll be, looking towards the city and saying, well, that's where all the vaccinated are. Yeah, it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. Tanya, thank you so much. I'm glad you enjoy the format. I think that I shouldn't have a problem streaming to Rumble as well with this same type of format. But yeah, that's it from me, guys. Have an amazing day. Stay safe, stay strong. Remember that we outnumber these scumbags 100,000 to 1 or even 1,000,000 to 1. And, you know, we can just keep praying that enough people see the light and see this for what it really is. Have an amazing day, night, afternoon, whatever time you're watching around the world. This has been the Thanos the Voice podcast. This is just a new format, guys. Something a lot more professional. Much love. Signing out. And see you later.